Hey everyone, it's Dee from DeesDivineGuidance here. I want to talk about today narcissistic parents, if we were raised by narcissists. I have a lot of people that come to me asking me to do this video. And basically I feel like we went through the whole relationship and being in a relationship with a narcissist. But I want to do this video because and in one of the videos that I did, it says that the reason that we go for the narcissist is because we were raised by narcissists and we go with what we know. All right, so I wanted to do this video. I'm going to try to get it done in one video, so I'm going to talk maybe a little bit quickly, but I kind of want to go through the whole thing about parenting. I don't want to make a whole series about this, but I think it's very important that we're aware if we were raised by a narcissist, because if you were raised by a narcissist, it will affect you emotionally and mentally. And like I said, we'll pick narcissists to be, you know, our partners, because that's the type of, it's the type of treatment that we're used to. So therefore, we're prime suspects for narcissism. All right, so I wrote down some notes, so I'm just going to be looking at that a little bit. But so whether your mother or your father is a narcissist, I really don't. It could matter a little bit more to women if your father was a narcissist in the way that you pick men, but I think either way it really doesn't matter. If one of your parents is a narcissist and the other parent doesn't realize that that parent is a narcissist, or unfortunately doesn't make up, if they can, I'm still trying to figure that out myself, for a narcissistic parent, a co-parent, even if they're together. So a couple of things. So we talked about like how narcissists manipulate in a relationship. So let's talk about how narcissists will manipulate in a family dynamic, right? So one thing you should know is that a narcissistic parent always has a golden child and then a scapegoat, right? So if you were raised by a narcissist, and you're watching this video, most likely you were the scapegoat of the narcissistic parent. All right, so the golden child always got all the attention, got all the love, and then the scapegoat was always the one that felt like, well, wanting that attention that parent would give to the other child. All right, so there's always a golden child and the scapegoat, and unfortunately the scapegoat, I feel as though the golden child, you know, grows up and it's kind of like, I don't know, secure with themselves a little bit, right? On an outward basis, I would say, like on a surface basis, they feel as though they're secure with themselves. Internally, I'm not really sure, but as I see on a surface, they're definitely like, they feel like they know what's going on, they're independent, whatever. The scapegoat, on the other hand, I feel could go two different ways. The scapegoat could either... and I'll talk about this a little bit more in the effects, but the scapegoat can have a lot of emotional and mental issues because they didn't get the love from the narcissistic parent that they needed. And like I said, the jury's out for me right now, as if the other parent had given the child the love, maybe more, and made up for the love that they weren't getting from the narcissistic parent. As what I can see right now, I don't think that it makes up for it, because even though they're getting all the love from the one parent that's not narcissist, I think they're still fiending, and I think it affects them seeing the narcissistic parent give the attention to the golden child, okay, unfortunately. Another way narcissistic parents will manipulate. Now let's just talk about this for a second, right? So what is a narcissistic parent? To me, a narcissistic parent is somebody that possesses over their child. Okay, we're, you know, parents, you know, we're there to do a job, we're there to bring them up, but some parents are scared. I don't know, somebody mentioned like being a helicopter parent, right? So always on top of them, not teaching them independence, always wanting them to fulfill their needs and wishes. All right, and if they keep their child not independent and like keep them dependent on them, then their children will never leave them, and then they will always be fulfilling their wishes and needs. All right, so To me, a narcissistic parent is, again, we talked about narcissism in the other video, is about needing that supply, right? Needing the supply from others, needing that ego filled. It's all about their ego. So a narcissistic parent will keep their child dependent on them because they will always need the narcissist. So if that makes sense. So that child is always giving them the supply. Oh, I want your love. I need your love. You're the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Like, so that's what I feel that it is. It's threatened by the child's independence. So they will do things to keep that child dependent. And so another couple ways that they do it would be the silent treatment, which I stated in the other video. You know, if you don't do something that your mother or father likes, then you'll get the silent treatment. If you're an adult and your parent is a narcissist, they're going to hang up on you. And then they're not going to talk to you for days. And then you're wondering like, oh my goodness, I made them mad. They hate me, blah, blah, blah. Like very in your head about that. Also, let me see what else I wrote here. So narcissists want their children to do what they want them to do. All right. So another way is children of narcissists are taught conditional love. Okay, you do this for me and then I'll give you love. You do this for me, I'll give you a hug. You clean the house and I'll praise you. If you don't clean the house, then I'm going to give you the silent treatment. Okay, or I'm going to yell at you and say, why didn't you clean the house? Another manipulation that they do is shaming. All right, so a lot of narcissistic parents will focus on the bad stuff, everything that you do wrong instead of anything that you do right. So this is like shaming a child. So this could be, you know, they didn't get good grades on the test. Now, a loving, nurturing parent should always be like, as long as you tried your best, that's all I can ask for. But a narcissistic parent will be like, you only got a B, you should have gotten an A. I can't believe you only got a B. You're staying in your room. You're going to study for the rest. Like, very, like, just making them like littler, like just really like smashing them down. And it really affects their self-worth at that point. Okay. It could be about grades. It could be about looks. It could be about what they do around the house. It could be their personality. It could be sports. It could be any of that. You've seen the parents that like have children in sports and they're like on them, like, oh my gosh, you didn't catch that ball. I can't believe you didn't catch that ball. Like, and it's like they dig on them and they just keep digging and digging and digging. It's not like, oh, you didn't catch the ball. It's all right. Next time you'll get it. You'll get it. Right. That's an empowering. That's a parent that wants their child to learn independence. Another thing would be like, you know, if a child wants to learn how to drive, but then the parent doesn't want him to, because then that makes the child dependent on the parent. Even small children, like not letting their children get dressed by themselves, not letting the children get their meals, not letting children make their own decisions. They are keeping their child dependent on them. Okay. This relates, all of what I'm saying is, let's go back to the conditional love. So basically that affects us going forward about people pleasing. All right. So a lot of narcissistic children from narcissistic parents will grow up people pleasing. All right. They will want to make other people happy because they know when they make other people happy, then they feel the love that they're yearning for so much that they don't get when somebody's mad at them. A lot of children from narcissists will not be able to deal with having somebody be mad at them. They will do whatever that they can to make that better. Okay, if I said something and I upset somebody, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I said that. You know, I didn't mean it, even though they did. All right, but they cannot have. They just literally inside of them cannot have somebody else be mad at them because that's what they grew up with. Narcissism. Narcissistic parents will affect your self-worth like you would not believe. Let's see. Okay, so if you have any comments below, because I'm sure I'm missing stuff, please comment below of your experience with narcissistic parents. What other things, that manipulation techniques that they did for you. You know, some narcissistic parents will physically abuse their kids as well. But a lot of it is mental, and a lot of it is, you know, they just want what they want and they really don't care how it affects you. So therefore, you're shit out of luck basically as a child, because growing up with that, you have no idea. And now your self-worth is being played with here, and you don't think you're worth anything because your parents aren't giving the love, your parents aren't giving you the praise, your parents aren't giving you the encouragement that you need when you're a child. All right. So even at a very small age, 3, 4, 5, this can start to play effect. Okay. Especially with the golden child and the scapegoat, like your parent might not even, if you're the scapegoat, might not even pay attention to you. You always like, they're like, you're an annoyance to them, like, oh my God, or yell at you all the time, where the other child is like, oh, come here, let me love you. And this child is all like, oh, go do this. I can't believe you did that, blah, blah, blah. And just, it's a very different dynamic. All right. So I'm trying to get this all done in one video. So that's basically being raised by, that's how narcissistic parents will treat a child. So if you have any other additional comments for that and info, because these messages are to get out there for people that are unaware. And especially this message, I want to get out there because it doesn't just affect when you were a child. All right. Now you'll see, we're going to go into how it affects you growing up as an adult and all the life decisions that you make and why you can't get out of your head. Okay. So how does narcissistic parents affect a child as they get older? What kind of things come out in that child as they get older? So I feel as though you can go 2 ways. All right. You can either, some of those children will become narcissists. They will become narcissistic parents. They will become narcissists. Unfortunately, because some of them will be like, I'm going to be so good that nobody's ever going to say anything bad or make me feel bad again. So they kind of start to form this false sense of identity that they are capable of doing anything. They're right at everything. They know everything. And nobody's going to be able to say anything because they're not going to want to feel bad anymore. And that's where that insecurity comes from with the narcissist. So I feel as though it could go 2 ways, maybe 3 ways. You could become the narcissist, okay? Or you could become the child that grows up and says, you know what? I don't need them anyway. I don't need them. I can do this by myself. I can do it. I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need that parent's love. And then you start to, you know, go to school and you go to college and you get a good job and you're making money, however that is for you, and your life is good, you have kids, you don't need that person's love. But the problem with that is that deep down inside, you do. This is all just a front that you're putting on because you can't deal with the sense of loss of love from your parent. Okay, so that's one way you can go. The third way that you can go is to become so anxious, anxiety, depression, you know, you can't get out of your head, very negative thinker. So that's the other way that you can go. Okay. And that, you know, obviously it's because you've been hurt in the past. Maybe you don't trust anybody. You don't want anybody around you. You don't want to be in a relationship, that type of thing. So it can also go that way. All right. So let me see what I wrote here. So let's see. So many children of the narcissist will do self-blame. It's all my fault. If I'm only nicer, that, you know, then they'll be happy. Or if I'm only, if I get better grades, then everything will be okay. If I do this, then everything's going to be great. It's very, you know, self-blame, like you're blaming yourself. It's all about you. When in fact, as a child of a narcissist, it was never your fault. It was never. And that's why I'm doing this video, because all that relationship stuff that we just went through stems from this. Okay, it's not you. It was never you. All those insecurities that you have, and this is the awakening process. Being aware that all those insecurities you now have that play a part in this in your relationships was never you. It was something that was put on you. Okay, and you as an awakened person and aware of this can take that away again, and you can be whole within yourself. Anyway, let's keep going. Self-blame. Then you have, like I just said, the insecure attachment. So you could either become avoidant or you could be anxious. So you're either going to avoid life and not let anybody hurt you ever again, or you're going to be anxious about it and depressed, and all those feelings are going to come up on a daily basis, and you're not really going to know how to live life anyway. You're going to need that validation. You're going to beg for that validation. You're going to get in relationships with narcissists because you're begging for the validation. They give it to you, they take it away, they give it to you, they take it away. It's what you're used to. All right. Another thing is extreme emotional independence. So basically, you don't trust anybody. It's like a distrusting person. Like you're going to keep yourself safe. Okay. And then the extreme nurturing. You want to experience the love that you didn't get from your parents. So again, that's being the codependent, needing that validation, needing the validation from others. And then some will portray symptoms of PTSD. Okay. So especially with the physical abuse. But let me go back here. All right. So a lot of us as children of narcissists will keep it all inside. So let's talk about that, right? So we know what the narcissistic parent treats us like. We know that all we have these emotions and all this stuff. The self-worth is low. The self-esteem is low. The mentality is messed up because maybe your parents were manipulative and made you think you were crazy. And, they'll also lie. Narcissists lie a lot. So, that they're lying, but they'll never admit that they're lying. All right. So this is how we grow up. So really, it is what it is, guys. That's what you really got to be aware of. You can't sit and dwell like, oh my God, my mom's a narcissist. My dad's a narcissist. I can't believe it. I have no, you got to say, you know what? All right, this is what happened. That's who they are. What they are has no reflection on you. What they did to you has consequences on you, but what they are has no reflection on you, okay? So know that. Know that it was never you that was the issue, okay? It was always them. So how do we go forward is what I want to say, because I want to wrap this up in this video. How do we go forward with this? A lot of us will not say anything because there's no sense in saying anything, right? The narcissist never changes. They'll never admit that they're wrong, okay? They also blame. Narcissists blame a lot. So they will always blame the other person. They'll blame something else. It was never their fault, because if it was their fault, then that would be a narcissistic injury to themselves, and that's not good. It's affecting their ego. So how do we go forward here? One thing I will say, and the major thing, there's just really one, maybe one or two. We'll see what happens here as I speak. The major thing that you need to know in order to go, two things, in order to go forward with a narcissistic parent, because you can't just cut them out of your lives, right? You can, but if they're really bad, physically abusive, really mentally abusive, you might want to cut them out of your lives. I never recommend cutting family. I never knew how anybody could do that. But with a narcissist, I can understand. However, if it's your mother or your father, you're not going to want to cut them out of your life. It's your mom and your dad, right? So what I advise is to set boundaries, okay? You need to set boundaries. However, before even setting boundaries, you need to work on your mental stability, all right? Because narcissists want that reaction from you. They're going to say something to get that reaction from you, okay? But you need to work on your mental stability and your awareness of what's going on, all right? When they say something, it is to make you feel bad because they want something. So if they want something and you don't agree, they will say something to make you feel bad. And then all of a sudden you get angry, maybe you snap at them. But that's what they want. They want that reaction. They want to know that they got to you, all right? So when I'm talking about mental stability, is there's a couple of things. You have to accept that you did not get the love that you wanted from your parent when you were a child. All right, you have to accept it. It just was not there. Something you went through, you cannot change the past. It is what it is. You have to accept that you did not get the love from your parent, okay? And you need to stop begging for that love from the parent if they're not giving it to you still, okay? One thing, let it go. You need to let it go. Stop it. You know you're never going to get it, so stop begging for it, okay? You will have to find that love within yourself in order to make up for the love that you did not get from your parent when you were younger. I know it's not the answer you want to hear, but I'm being straight up with you guys, okay? The other thing is you need to stop trying to let your parents know, parents, whoever, let you know what they did was wrong to you, because they will never see it. It's really a fight that's all within your head, okay? And the narcissist isn't in your head. They are only thinking of themselves. So you over here are like, they don't see that they hurt me. How can they not see this? Blah, blah, blah. They don't give a shit. They really don't care. And they will never see it. They have no empathy. So the more that you try to tell them or try to make them see how much they hurt you and how much, love that they didn't give you, and even if you want it now, you're not going to get it, all right? And they're never going to see that. So the minute that you can give up that fight in your head and just realize that they are who they are and that's it, and that it's never going to change, and stop trying to change them, stop trying to prove to them that they did wrong by parenting the way that they parented you, and stop trying to make them see how much they hurt you. Once you can give up that fight, now you can step back a little bit and be you, and be a little bit more of aware of the situation, so that when they do bring something up, you're not playing that game anymore, because you don't need their validation. You don't need their love, okay? And this is for a narcissistic parent, guys. I'm not talking about all parents. So it's just, you can't let them affect you anymore. And also, you have to start speaking up. You have to let them know how you feel. However, because, and again, this goes back to the mental stability, is you are angry, okay? You're angry. So the more awareness that you have, and the more calm, and the more you can disconnect from this person. Now remember what I said in the beginning, narcissists bring their children up so that they're dependent on them. So you are mentally, even though you're an adult now, you are mentally still depending on them, all right? Because they brought you up that way to do that. So once you can disconnect and cut that cord between their manipulation and you are now like in the driver's seat, all right? You can never beat a narcissist. You need to learn how to deal with them. And the more self-love and disconnection that you have with them, is the best. But you do want to express yourself, because expressing yourself then releases everything that you went through as a child. Now, the reason you express yourself is so that they know. Now, it doesn't matter if they think you're right, or if, they feel that they did wrong, because that's not what we're trying to prove anymore. And that's why I say the mental stability comes first, all right? The awareness comes first. The being centered with all of this comes first, because then you can speak your truth and say, yeah, well, you didn't really do that when I was younger. And you're not expecting them to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't believe it, give me love. Like, no, you just want to state what you said, what you know, and how they made you feel, without expecting or anticipating a reaction from them, okay? But you do need to get that out. A lot of people have their throat chakras blocked, all right? Because they cannot speak their truth. They cannot tell people how they truly feel, especially a narcissistic parent, because they're going to get the silent treatment. God knows how long they're going to go without talking to me now. It could be 2 months. It could be a whole year. You have to be mentally okay with that being okay, because you said what you needed to say for you, okay? It's no longer about your parent. It is about you, all right? And even in any relationship that you have to be willing to lose the other person for the love that you have for yourself, okay? If I don't eat pickles and this person wants me to eat pickles, then no, leave me alone, because that's not what I want to do. So, stupid example, but just giving you an example, like, you have to be willing to lose that person so that you can love yourself. I hope that makes sense to you. You have to speak your truth. You have to speak what you felt. You have to speak how you feel, because God knows that what happens in childhood just doesn't leave us. It sticks with us. And until you can speak it and release that energy that is blocked in your heart, okay, until you can do that, then you're still connected with this cord to your parent, all right? But what I will say is, when you do speak your truth, do not speak it in a spiteful way, okay? And that's, again, going back to being centered and aware and mentally okay before you do this stuff, is, we're not doing it to hurt them. We're doing it to be okay with us. We're saying it because we need to get it out. We need to let her know. We need to let him know what he did to us, okay? It's not for them. And you have to be very clear about that, because if you go into it spitefully, they're going to attack, and then you're going to just feel lower and lower. So you need to be okay with yourself before you can tell your parents how they made you feel throughout all this. Set the boundaries, all right? So, you know, they cannot be coming over to your house all the time. They cannot be calling you drunk all the time. Don't answer the phone. And let them know when they are sober, if they are alcoholics, when they are sober, that listen, if you call me at 9 o'clock at night, I'm not going to answer the phone, all right? And again, you have to be willing for them to say, well, fine, I'm never calling you again. Okay. But most of the time, if you say, all right, fine, whatever, which normally a child of a narcissist doesn't do, they'll be like, oh, no, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. You could call me anytime. No, you have to be like, well, fine. And then most of the time, the narcissist, they need you. So they're going to come back. I mean, you're their child. So most of the time, I will say, they're not going to be like, well, screw you. I'm never talking to you again. And if that is the case, you're going to love yourself so much that that doesn't matter. All right. It'll always affect you, but it's not going to be something that destroys your life. All right. Let's see. Yeah. So yeah, it's just really about your ego, guys. And it's really about that pain that you feel, that you don't need to prove to them that they gave you this pain, that you feel this pain. It doesn't matter what they think. You do what's good for you now. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. Don't keep it all inside, because all you're doing is torturing yourself, but you need to be clear and love yourself before you can start to initiate those conversations with the narcissist. It's a process, guys. You can't just go like this and, you know, have it all be done. So the awareness is number one. Awareness is number one. Knowing that you came from this, knowing how it has affected you now, so that everything that you do, you can bring back, oh, well, that's affecting my self-worth. Oh, somebody made plans and didn't include me. I don't feel worthy. Okay, am I not worth anything to be included? Where does this self-worth come from? Oh, it comes from my mother who, you know, made me think that I had to do stuff to gain my self-worth. Okay. Oh, I have to go and I have to, you know, spend $1,000 on my friend's house because she needs help, you know, and I need to help her. Where does that come from? Oh, I need the validation because helping others then gives me worth for myself. Where does that worth? Why is that there? Oh, because my mother, every time I clean the house, would give me praise, and that would give me self-worth. You see how it affects everything, but it's the awareness that's key. You have to be aware that this is what's happening. Okay? Sorry that the video is so long. I just wanted to do one video for this. Comment below with any additional information. I know I probably haven't hit upon anything. If we get a lot of information, I'll do another video. But I think I covered the basics. And really, guys, the past is the past. It is what it is. It's all about awareness. All right? So don't get down on yourself. It has nothing to do with you. You were just in the situation. It's like, what would you tell a child that their father hit him? Right? Is that the child's fault? No. It's the father's fault for not being able to control himself. And that's the same thing with children from narcissists, all right? It was never your fault. These insecurities that you have are not you. They were things that were placed on you. Just like if they had scars from a beating, that was not something they did to themselves. It was something that was the situation they were in, and that's something that was placed on them. All right, so just be aware of that. Awareness is key in order to get through narcissism, and be aware of your ego, okay? You don't need to prove your ego. They will never understand. They don't have empathy. They don't have the mental ability to even comprehend what you're talking about. So it's really just a waste of energy. It's a waste of breath, and it's really, you're giving them the reaction. You're giving them the supply that they want. All right, so, all right, I'm going to wrap it up here. If you have questions, let me know in the comments below. If you have additional information, comment below so that we can all share our stories and know that we are not only, you know, the only ones that are going through this. I know there's a ton. And just realize that your choices in today's life reflect from going through this when you were a child. Okay? Love to you all. I wish you luck. Bye.